By the way, an interesting side fact about that song. Everything mentioned in that song is an actual event that took place in history, and he actually sings them in the order in which they occurred historically. And also the first
80s fun fact.
I'm not even sure what that means. At a certain point, I heard him just say Kerouac, like
they're references.
The writer Jack Kerouac.
They're references to things that happened historically,
so, like,
and they're
the
in
date
the order.
He was born.
No, it's something significant.
Or the day a book of his came out. I mean,
he was the first one, by the way, to do a song. He created this genre of song. There have been many imitations since. He was the first one to actually do this.
Well, he was the first one to do it and make it big, because I'm pretty sure somebody did it before him.
I don't believe so. I believe he was actually the first one to do it.
No, there are definitely others who have done it. I couldn't cite you any specifically, but he's not the first.
You're full of these
How
odd facts
convenient.
that you can't.
I couldn't say specifically. I mean, I should have said that in Trump voice. I can't say anything. No, that's not a Trump voice. I can't say anything specifically.
That's it. He's had too much soda tonight. He can't do Trump.
That's a good idea.
Shut your face, Joe.
Anyway, so moving on to another subject. Although, if you want to join the chat on this, by all means, please do. And hopefully we can get your comment on the air. Get this. California Assembly Bill 1810 just got signed into law by Jerry Brown at the beginning of this week. Okay.
Who's Jerry Brown?
Who's that?
The governor.
Who that is?
Oh.
The governor of this glorious state of California.
New phone, who this?
He signed this into law, and it takes effect immediately. Do you guys know what CA Bill
not at all.
1810 is? 1810 gives basically anybody the opportunity to get all the charges for any kind of crime they are accused of put on hold by claiming they did it while insane, mentally incapacitated in some way, shape, or form. And all they got to do is get one psychiatrist to come up and say, yes, Judge, he was definitely not in his right frame of mind when he did this. And suddenly all the charges are on hold indefinitely.
Okay, so you know what this sounds like to me? Sounds
Stupidity?
like there's some rich kid or some rich politician who's in jail.
Somebody's
like,
got
I gotta
something.
find some kind of way to get out of this.
I gotta find some loophole.
Oh, no loophole.
See,
let me call up my buddy.
this is all
What's his
the
name again?
bleeding heart liberals who are like,
Let me
call him Jerry Brown.
we have to take care of all the people with the mental disabilities and the homeless and the so on and the so
Well,
forth.
we should do that. Those are valid things.
Do you see that video going around
But this
Facebook?
is not the way to do it.
There's that video going around Facebook the other day where it was supposedly some violent vagrant was in downtown LA, like attacking people with a board with a nail in it, and then he just shows the security footage of the front of a shop, and this guy's like swinging around a board, and he just gets karate kicked out of nowhere. This guy comes up behind him and just gives him the mother of all karate kicks. And I was like, oh snap, take down that homeless guy.
Okay, so
God bless America.
I mean, let's think about how this can easily be an issue. Is anybody familiar with the news story of earlier this week about this? I believe it was like a 90-year-old man that accidentally bumped into this little girl, and the woman beat him senseless with a brick.
No, actually, it was a woman who was fighting, and then several other men jumped in, and I think the men did the bulk of the damage, but she won't identify any of the men, so they're pinning it all on her.
And all she has to do now is say she wasn't in the right frame of mind when she did this, and suddenly all the charges go away.
I don't know if this bill specifically says they all go away. I mean, I think there might have to be
they
some
get put
kind
on
of
hold.
retrial
They
or
get
something
put on
like that.
hold pending another psychiatrist saying actually he's now returned to sanity and can stand trial.
Right.
But basically, if they've already established that the person was not in their normal frame of mind at the time that the crime was committed, then is it really a crime or was it a mental disability?
I think it's still a crime. Just because you're mentally disabled doesn't make it less of a crime. It means you're less able to control yourself.
Let's be realistic about this.
It's still a
if somebody
crime.
is convicted of a crime and they're considered mentally incapacitated or not functioning on a normal level, their sentences are dramatically reduced.
Not necessarily. One of the problem is when they did shut down all the asylums that people. Some people were released into the streets, but there's this one case, and I can't remember. I might have been one of these podcasts you told me to listen to. They're talking about this guy who was put in jail. He was about to go to trial, so he was in holding, and he had a bar fight. Somebody in the holding with him told him, if you plead insanity, then they'll send you some cushy little hospital. You'll do a few months, you'll be back out. So he actually started looking up insane people, and during his interview, he emulated their behavior, and he ended up locked up in an insane asylum for like 15 years because he basically acted insane too well.
Well, yeah, that sounds like
I
he
think
should
there's
have
a whole
gone to
movie about
Hollywood
it.
and actually probably could have replaced Keanu Reeves in a lot of movies because this guy could evidently really act.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, like, once that tag is put on you in the asylum specifically, any attempt at behaving like you're sane is seen as pathology. I forget where I saw this video. I must have been in one of those YouTube rabbit holes. There's like a story. A guy wrote a book about it.
Oh, I got it. That was that movie Mystery Men. Casanova Frankenstein.
No, it was not that. It was not that. But yeah, he basically played too well. So, I think you still run the risk of getting locked up. And what it really does, just like any criminal law that gets passed, it really only affects the people who do not have enough money to properly defend themselves. Because you can actually be insane and still end up in lockdown. You can be completely innocent and end up in lockdown just because you don't have a good enough lawyer. You have a public defender whose caseload is not going to.
I remember where that came from. That was that documentary Training Day.
Oh, there's another one.
It followed up the, followed around the LAPD cops.
Yeah.
They talked about the guy who had a butt full of Jiffy peanut butter. Remember that scene?
No.
I think you're conflating a couple of different
This
movies.
man is clearly insane. Yeah, look that scene up.
No, do not look that
no,
scene up.
no,
do not
don't.
type butt full of peanut butter into Google.
Oh my goodness, you might get some interesting stuff.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, that situation with the old guy, that's a really messed up situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that got a lot of play just because, I don't know, at a certain point, the woman was attributed with saying,
A racial
go
slur,
back
yeah.
to Mexico or something like
Yeah,
that.
ironically, they cannot verify that, so she's not charged with a
Yeah, but
racist
that's-
hate crime.
That's almost every article you read about it said
Well, I
that.
mean, that's basically just to help
So that's as good as convicted.
On
prop
the
up
flip-
the whole immigration.
On the flip side of this poor 92-year-old man, all right?
82. Come on, he's getting older every time you say
No,
it.
he is 92. 92 years old. So
This 97-year-old man.
this poor guy, somebody created a GoFundMe page for him and set a goal of $15,000. Now, in the middle of the week, it was Wednesday or so, it was already up to $287,000 and still going.
How are you saying this poor old guy when he's got 280 grand?
Well, that's what I'm saying, So I think
This guy's
he's
doing
gonna
pretty
have
good.
plenty of
If
money
he actually
at the
gets
end
that
of this.
money. You hear about those people setting up those fake GoFundMe pages? That happens.
No, that's not GoFundMe. That's Never mind, something else.
Go F me.
Yeah, exactly.
Go F yourself.
Oh. Okay, these are the jokes, people.
That's why I don't participate in GoFundMe.
Uh,
You never know if it's legit.
Yeah, if you don't know the person. Then.
Well, how can it not be legit? I don't understand. If somebody sets up a GoFundMe page for you, don't they have to put the funds in your name at the outset
It's
of the page?
internet. You can put whatever you want on it
Oh, interesting.
and call it true. I don't know. I'm sure GoFundMe has some attempts at making things legit.
Yeah, you
I don't
gotta
know
assume
how
there's some kind of
effective-
controls there to protect
I
people.
don't know how effective they are.
Oh,
Yeah, I think unless you're called on it, they kind of rely on self-policing or something like that. So unless
Interesting.
you're called on it,
well,
then-
great. You just shut down their GoFundMe account. Now nobody's going to donate money to this poor old gentleman anymore.
So anyway, we're starting a GoFundMe
This 102-year-old man.
We need an air conditioner in this room.
and our air conditioner is non-functional, and yeah, our studio needs a.
GoFundMe.com/localboys.
Yeah, but you need to actually create that page first.
Snap.
yeah,
Patent
get on
pending.
Yeah,
Patent pending.
you can't just you can't give out a
pending?
false GoFundMe page.
GoFundMe pending.
Now somebody's going to create a GoFundMe page in our name. Great. Are you nuts?
If they actually make any money, God bless them. We've been trying for months to make money off this thing. Hadn't worked.
that. Yeah, I think I'm in a hole thanks to this.
Missed it by that much.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Yeah. So, going back to
On
this
that note-
1810 bill, I mean, I for one am kind of horrified. I mean, I understand the need to protect the rights of the people that are legitimately not all there.
But you have to know that that's not the reason they did it.
But opening this up to so that just about anybody can use it as a defense is ridiculous. I mean, in a
Ludicrous?
yeah, there you go. At a time when everybody's been complaining that there isn't enough done to protect the general public in the first place, that crime rates are going out, we've got hate crimes here and there, and some of that, there are all these people saying that Trump and his rhetoric have spurred up, because there was a statistic earlier this week also that said that hate crimes, violence against Hispanics, and even black people has gone up.
You mean even black people?
Well,
All right,
those
Stu,
numbers
I'm
are
just
pretty.
messing with
Those
you.
numbers are pretty consistent, but
Yeah, people always hate us.
But
There's nothing new under that sun.
no, it's sadly we all know that to some degree racism persists, and we cannot seem to
I don't think all of us know that.
get to the point where all men are in fact created equal, even though it's in our Constitution. But all these hate crimes have gone up. I mean, hate crimes against Jewish people, hate crimes against black people, hate crimes against Hispanics especially. That showed the largest increase. And all of it is coinciding with the Trump presidency.
Which
and then
is
we go
why-
around, then Democratic Governor Jerry Brown turns around and passes a law that basically gives anybody a free pass by claiming they're mentally incapacitated.
Now here's what I think would happen, because I honestly don't believe they don't do this kind of. I honestly don't believe they do this type of thing without having an ulterior motive.
Okay.
Once you do that, once you enter that plea, it really does kind of become up to the judge whether or not. Because if you say that you were insane, then you have to prove you're no longer insane.
Well, and that according to the provisions of this bill, you just have to have another doctor come in and say, yeah,
But-
he's not insane anymore.
But now you have to have two doctors agree that number one, you were insane, and then number two, one to say you were insane, and somebody else needs to say you weren't insane.
Exactly.
And they have to be in agreement. Again, this comes back to how much money do you have. But here's the thing that I'm concerned about, and this is part of a discussion we've had in the past. Once you get that label applied to you, it's not a long leap before now, oh, I see you had this mental illness situation. That's a permanent tag. So now it's going to be harder to get employment. It's going to be harder to get housing. It's going to be harder to stay out of incarceration, because it might be the next time you commit a crime, oh, yeah, this guy was crazy the last time he did something. Maybe he's crazy again. You're locked up permanently. So idiots are going to take advantage of this, except for the ones with good money. And they're the ones who are going to suffer the most. This is all a part of, I mean, maybe it's not a bad thing, but you're thinning the herd. Because you're going to have some idiot who's going to say, oh, I was crazy when I did that drive-by that I was planning for 5 months. I was emotionally distraught when I killed the woman that I was with for 15 years and had been abusing and everybody knew about. That type of thing. And maybe it's better that those people
like
don't
that
exist.
story earlier in the week about the
That-
guy who took the chainsaw to his wife.
There's
Todd, have you been living under a rock? You look like you have no idea. He
I
did this
don't
in front of their
watch
3
the
young children.
news.
All of them were covered in blood. He tried to saw off her arm with a chainsaw. Then,
Tried to. How do you?
he got pretty darn close
I
to it.
feel like if you go
Then
at
he-
somebody with a chainsaw, it would be pretty easy.
Yeah, he fled the scene afterward in the family car, got, I don't know, 3 or 4 blocks down the street, got into a car wreck, okay, destroyed his car, got
With
left
the
on
chainsaw?
foot. No, not with the chainsaw.
He was driving with a chainsaw.
Yeah, he was driving with a chainsaw. Left on foot, and then conveniently found somebody else who'd left their car running but wasn't in it. Carjacked that and took off and was gone until, I think, just yesterday when they finally caught him trying to get across the border into Mexico.
yeah.
That's what you do.
But that kind of person needs to be locked up. There's no doubt about that. But
Now,
I
all he has to do is
think
claim he was insane at the time.
it doesn't matter. He's still going to get locked up. He's going to get one doctor to say, you know what, you're right, you were insane. But if you're talking about a person who's going to, number one, they're going to get a public defender to find this doctor. Number two, you got to get a doctor that's going to take this case, and that's not going to be,
But when the alternative is facing charges of murder with special circumstances, what has he really got to lose?
It's still murder, and California has
Or attempted murder with special circumstances. He didn't actually kill her,
whatever
thank
the
God.
case
She's
is,
recovering
you're
in the
still going to
hospital.
be locked up. And the mistake that people are making, the ones who may take advantage of this, is thinking that it's going to be okay because I'll be in an asylum somewhere. No, you're going to get doped up, and you basically become free labor. That's my theory. I don't think they're doing this just because they think it's, we got to help these mentally ill. They could give a damn about the mentally
And
ill.
what do you think the difference is if he gets convicted of the murder charge?
In California, there really wouldn't be much of a difference because we don't do anything with the death penalty.
So
if we
then
had
what's
the
the
death
point?
penalty, the point is they think they can get off. But by doing
I
this,
feel like
Well, hold on.
lawyer would advise them about the difference between the two.
if you're
if there's no-
if you're talking about
if there's
somebody
no
who's going
change
to
of outcome-
if you're talking to a public defender, I don't know that every one of them's going to give you their best effort, especially in a case like that where it seems like an open and shut case. They're like, okay, you want to do that? Cool. It happens every day.
Cool.
It happens every single day. And if you're going to end up locked up anyway, it's going to be that I can't give you an accurate number. And yes, there are definitely people who need to be locked up for that type of behavior.
That needs
But
to be
I
a
just-
drop,
I
Joe,
think-
of Chevelle saying, I don't have any actual numbers.
I just know that there are a lot of people who are going to think they're getting off and they're going to get taken advantage of.